HOA ignored my no parking signs, so Grandpa used a winch and dumped their SUV in the creek. The summer sun beat down on our quiet cul-de-sac, but the air was anything but calm. For months, the HOA, led by Karen Mitchell, had turned our peaceful neighborhood into a battleground. Karen, with her perfect blonde bob and designer sunglasses, ruled like a queen, enforcing rules on mailbox colors and lawn ornaments while ignoring our complaints. My no parking signs, posted clearly on our property line, were her latest target. She'd park her shiny red SUV right in front of them, smirking as she sauntered to her McMansion. It wasn't just parking, it was power. I tried everything. Notes, calls to the HOA, even a polite confrontation. Karen laughed, her voice dripping with condescension. "Sweetie, those signs are tacky. They're not enforceable." My blood boiled, but I held back. Grandpa, though, had other plans. At 78, he was a wiry, stubborn man who'd spent his life towing cars for a living. He'd watched Karen's antics from his porch, his eyes narrowing with each violation. "She's got no respect," he'd mutter, sipping his coffee. One humid morning, I woke to Karen's SUV blocking our driveway again. I stormed outside, ready to call a tow truck, but Grandpa was already there, his old winch truck rumbling. "Enough's enough," he said, his voice low and final. I hesitated. Karen was vindictive, and the HOA could fine us into oblivion, but Grandpa's resolve was ironclad. "She wants to play dirty? Let's play." As Grandpa hooked the winch to Karen's SUV, neighbors peeked through curtains. Karen burst out of her house, screaming, "What are you doing to my car?" Her face was red, her arms flailing. I stepped forward, holding up a photo of her SUV parked illegally. "You ignored my signs, Karen. This is private property." She lunged toward Grandpa, but he didn't flinch, cranking the winch. The SUV lurched, tires scraping pavement. Then came the twist. Mrs. Delaney, the shy widow next door, emerged from her garden. She was Karen's biggest defender, always praising her leadership. But today, her voice trembled with rage. "Karen, you parked on my roses last week and lied about it." She held up a crushed flower, tears in her eyes. The crowd gasped. Mrs. Delaney's betrayal shifted the tide. Karen's allies wavered, and her authority cracked. The confrontation escalated. Karen threatened lawsuits, but Grandpa kept cranking. The SUV teetered on the creek's edge, its front wheels dangling. I begged Grandpa to stop. Revenge felt good, but this was too far. He paused, looking at me, then at Karen's panicked face. For a moment I thought he'd back down, but Karen spat, "You're just a bitter old man." That was it. With a grim nod, Grandpa released the winch. The SUV slid into the creek, landing with a sickening splash. Muddy water swallowed its hood. Silence followed, then chaos. Karen wailed, neighbors shouted, and I stood frozen, torn between guilt and triumph. The police arrived, but Grandpa calmly explained, "Private property, clear signs, no laws broken." Karen's hysterics didn't help her case. The officers issued a warning but left without charges. The SUV, though, was totaled. Insurance wouldn't cover negligent parking. That night, Grandpa sat on the porch, quieter than usual. "Did I go too far, kid?" he asked. I didn't know. Karen's rein was broken, and the HOA backed off. But at what cost? Mrs. Delaney's outburst haunted. Meshed lost her garden, her trust in Karen, and her voice had been ignored until now. The neighborhood was free, but fractured. Karen moved away weeks later, her house sold at a loss. Some cheered, others whispered about that crazy old man. The creek still holds pieces of that SUV, a rusted reminder of the day vengeance won but left scars. I drive past it daily, wondering if justice was served or if we just traded one tyrant for another kind of chaos. Grandpa's winch is back in the garage, but his spark hasn't faded. He says he'd do it again. I'm not so sure. What do you think? Was Grandpa's revenge justified? Or did it deepen the neighborhood's wounds? Share your thoughts on justice and community conflict.